Morning, everyone. I'm waiting for the okay, all clear. Yes, good morning, everyone. I hope you're all okay. And took me by surprise that. So today I'm going to show you the Freesia later on, and I'm going to start with one of the really old cutters, the baby in a basket, and it's for Cheryl over there in America. That she's asked about this one, and I suppose really it's old to me. It's old to a lot of people, but if you haven't seen them before, then it's new. So I'm going to do that one today. Okay, so we're starting off with, I've coloured board pale blue, and I've just lightly embossed. I've already done it so that the board would be dry. So emboss it, leave your so this is now a plaque, leave your plaque to dry. You could work directly onto your cake, but I like to make the little plaques, so then you can just store them and pop them onto your cake when you want them, sink them in. Right, so yeah, so cover your board, lightly emboss, and that's the thing with what I'm going to do now. Well, with all of them patchwork really, if you're going to paint or put pieces on top, then you don't want to have the outline too deep. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's quite a faint outline. So I can see where all the pieces will go, but what I don't want is to have a really deep groove that I'm going to have to fill in with the paste. You know, if you've got it too deep, you're going to have to push the paste into that. So this will sit on top, but you won't see the embossed line. Sorry, I've got something tickling my face. Got a bit of a hair there. Right. Oh, I must say thank you all so much for your lovely comments about the flower basket last week. And what I didn't have time to take the flowers out and put the Karen's lovely basket weave mould right to the top as I would normally do. So what I did, I just put a strip. I did the cake, but I just put a strip around that edge, you know, the styrofoam edge, and I thought, well, at least they can see where to cut, and it looked okay. I mean, it's a few skew-iffy bits, but hey, I'm okay with that. But yeah, they could see where to put the knife to remove the whole arrangement of flowers. So thank you so much for your comments. It was really nice of you. Right, so cracking back onto this one. So what you can put a little piece of paste there. I have got a finished one here. So you see there, it's raised as though the baby's in the basket, okay, or cot, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to just put a tiny piece of paste onto that. Right, how are you all coping with the heat? It's a bit cooler today, thank goodness. I'll just turn that round a little bit. I'm no good in heat, as you know, as I complained all last year. As soon as it gets hot, my fingers swell. It's like making a cake with sausages. So I've just got thinning that out around the outside edge and making it nice and smooth. You don't want it to look like a bumpy baby. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of water on there and just press that down. So just smooth it so that you haven't got like a ridge when you put the blanket on the top. Okay, so that just fills that space nicely there. All right, and then I don't know what that bit is there. Yeah, so it's a bit cooler today, thank goodness. I was thinking everybody with buttercream cakes, my heart goes out to you. Whoa. Right, so we've got that bit on. And then I'm just going, so I'm using flour paste. I'm using the, just the local sugar, you know, from the supermarket. I think it's a well-known sugar paste. You could use Renshaw's, that's the one I usually use if I'm buying a named one. Right, so roll this out, roll, don't lift. I'm going to get the white bits on first. So roll that nice and thin. What I'm doing now is it's really the same for any of the patchwork cutters. You emboss lightly, you roll out your flower paste, you roll, don't lift, and that's it. You know, you flick your cutter away, so it's the same technique. So press around the outside edge. I don't have to worry about this bit because that's going on in a different colour, so it's this main bit here that I'm looking at. Use a cocktail stick just to pick out any bits that you don't want. Literally take that ribbon away and go around here. Take that bow and that ribbon loop, and what I've got there is, if I lift that onto there, what I should do really is put this onto a grey board, and then you can see what I'm doing, can't you? There you go. I knew I had that grey board there for some reason. So I'm just going to smooth around that a bit so you can see on there, maybe, hopefully, that I've got the baby in under the cover. So I'll bring this one back in, moisten with water, just the area that I'm putting on here, and around the top there. And so lift, just using my little PME knife, and pop that into position so you can see by your embossed outline where to put it. It's like doing a jigsaw really, isn't it? But you know where all the bits are going to go. Just use your damp brush if you've got a little bit there that's a little bit rough. Okay, so turn that round. You can see that there's a little lump. That's the baby in there. Okay. So I'm going to just roll out now a little piece for the hair and a little piece for the head and the hands on here. I'll go on to layers in a minute. So whichever skin tone you're going for, I need a tiny piece. I'll get that in there. Always Trex your board every time. Thin. You don't want you shouldn't be seeing lots and lots of Trex on there. Trex or Crisco or the other one. Wayne will be going, she can't remember again. Crisco, or he'll put it up for me. Okay, so there's the head and the hands. Now, I had to do one of these because I couldn't remember. It was so long ago. We were talking probably 25 years ago when I brought this one out. So I haven't got the best memory as it is. So I couldn't remember which was the hand. This little bit here, it must be a hand, mustn't it? But we're putting it on. So you take all these little bits. Oh, they are. Kofa. Thanks, Wayne. If you ever need to know anything like that, Wayne will tell you. Well, let's get the... If you ever need... You can't find any of the classes. He always seems to know where they are. So this little tiny hand, can you see that? Little widgy hand. That's going to go on there. And then the little face on there. Now, don't press the face too much because it has got a little smile. And I did press mine. I squished it out. I don't know if you can see on that one. But he lost, or she lost, a smile. So just be careful on that bit. And then I'm going to roll a tiny piece out for the hair. And this is it. You're just building layer upon layer upon layer. Working from the background, what would be the background, to the foreground. So say you were doing a footballer, you'd probably end up doing an extra layer of shirt because that would be in front of the face and all that. The hair's always on top, it always has an extra layer. So you just have to look at your picture. If you haven't got a picture of the finished thing, then at least just take the cutter and emboss it into an old piece of paste so that you can see then which you know what you put on as an extra layer, and I'll just press those two, the hair and the head together. Yeah, so you can sort out what you would like to go on as an extra layer. So on this one, this little frill around the top edge here will be an extra layer. Let's get rid of those bits. I don't know where my pot's gone. Oh, I'll put them under there. White paste. I'll put the pink on in a minute. Right. Oh. So obviously you would choose. That's lifted because I haven't put Trex underneath. So I should have done really. Right, so this little frilly bit here is going to have an extra layer. Let's see. I'm just pressing around there. Take that off. Moisten your plaque. Again, use your cocktail stick or the pointy end of your Dresden tool, anything pointy. Just flick all that away. So that you've got that. A little bit of water around there. And lay that on. Just follow the piece beneath. Okay. Give that little press. So you see, if you had gone too deep with the initial embossing, you would then have to be pressing all this into to fill it in, to fill the gap in. But if you have got any little bits that need tidying up, just a damp brush and that will sort that out. There is a little frill either side of the hand, so let's just do that, and then I'll go on to the pink bit. Just get rid of the thick parts there, and so this is the frilly bit. Pull, pop that on, and then I think it's the little cuff, isn't it? Take the hand away and chase that round a bit. Right, okay, lift that up so you can see. Just those little bits of extra makes all the difference, doesn't it? But as I say, the little lumpy body, you don't have to have that there. You could just keep it flat if you wanted to. Right, so I'm just going to go on to the pink. Put the white under there. So Trex up. So this is our last, or tomorrow is our last day, isn't it, for sales, I think. I'm not quite sure if it finishes tomorrow or Monday, over the weekend, but anyway. But I don't particularly want this to become a selling group, but if you do have patchwork cutters, I know, is it Jean? Not quite sure now. If you do have patchwork cutters for sale, then mention it and people can get in touch with you direct, then that's fine, you know. I know she's broken her back or hurt her spine or something. But yeah, there's also, I have put it on our site, a selling channel. That's really good. A selling group. And you can get bits and pieces from there. Right, okay, so let me just take that. I'm not going to do the bow just yet. Not this top one anyway. I just want to concentrate on this. So pull all that away for now. Ooh, apart from that bit there. There's a tiny bit at the top which I want to keep, and there's a piece down here. It's one of those that you can't really rush it, you know. Just going to take that away from around the bottom there, and from around the bow there. Right, so bring this back in, moisten with water. Now, there's no need to use sugar glue. Water's fine, water will hold it. I'm going to take this away actually, it's this tiny bit there that's sort of getting on my nerves a bit. Right, I'm going to lift that on, pop that on top. It's all about layers this, isn't it? Fit that in. Oh, that should go on top there. So just make sure that that does fit in the right place. You don't stretch it out too much. And then somewhere in here there should be a bow. Let me have a look and see. I may have scrunched it up. So I'll do that one again. Right. Oh, there it is. Oh, never mind. That's the nice thing about it, that if you lose a bit or you break a bit, then you can just scrunch it up and do it again. Okay. So this time I do want the bows. So I'm going to just take this one here, this little part bow. That's the one I lost a minute ago. So it's like tucked away behind. Bring that back in. Loosen that. And pop that on. You can see it building up now, can't you? Right, I've lost it again. It's going to be one of those. That's the bit I need. Pop that in there. Now this one, I'm just going to cut an extra layer. And pull that paste away from around that. And pop that on top. And again, just use your damp brush just to go around the edge and just tidy up any little bits that may look a little bit frayed there. Okay, so that, you can see it just looks nice. I'm not putting an extra layer on there because it is supposed to be behind the basket and this one's out on top, so that side will have an extra layer and that one won't. Right, now all this top bow and bits, don't try and take it all in one go. You would just cut that out and take it piece by piece. I'll show you. Oh, ow. Right, and then there's a bit, so tracks up there. I don't need the birds, they're going to go on in white, and then I'm just going to paint them. So it is the top bow, and well, just cut out the top part of the cutter really, and down to that side. Oh, I hope I've got enough there, I don't think I have. Right, so firstly, we'll get rid of all that part. You don't need that. I do need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. But as I say, if you lose track of where you're up to, I'm just going to cut that bit off there. It's as easy as just roll out another piece. Sometimes I put them to one side and then I see all these bits and scrunch them up and then realise that I did actually need it. Like now, did I need that bit? I don't know, I'll find out in a minute. Right, put that to one side, moisten, across there, all the way down there. And then, rather than lift the whole thing, I'm going to just take that top piece away. So that's my little bow part that can go on there. That can go on there. And so it's not going out of shape. If you lifted the whole lot, you know, and sort of you're having a bit of a battle with it then. And then things can go out of shape, can't they? Let me just move those. More water there. That can go there. This bit can go on here. Again, if it looks a little bit tatty, then just tidy it up with your damp brush. Damp being the word, not drippy wet. Okay, so I need that little bit there for some reason. It's just tidy that up. And the extra layer on the bow as well. So tracks up, roll out. That's it. Roll, don't lift. Now in the future, as I say, if you have any patchwork cutters, it's that side I need, isn't it? Or if you bought them from somewhere and you don't know how to use them, I'm still here. I still own the name Patchwork Cutters. And although we'll be doing a lot of combo cutters and new design combo cutters, that bow hasn't come out very well, has it? I'll do that one again. Then just, you can get in touch with me on this, you know, in our club, and just say I've got the so-and-so, like Cheryl's done, I've got the so-and-so, so-and-so, and can you do a demo on it? And of course I will, I'm here. I'm not disappearing, I hope. So if you need anything like that at all, then alongside the other things, I will certainly do any patchwork that you have, because you know there will be for sale in the shops if they have them left, if people are giving up sugarcraft. And let's cut another couple of bows out, that one anyway. Yeah, they're still around there, they haven't disappeared off the earth. So we've sold so many over the years that they're still out there, but you may need to have a little dem on them. So this is where I am stemming. Okay, so just put that one, so that can have an extra layer just to bring that out into the foreground. Okay, so that's the bows on there now. So these two little birds, I'm just going to cut a tiny piece out in white and do a quick paint up, and then I'll show you quickly how to make Freesia. So we need a small piece of white. So cut this little bird out first. And then this one. A bit of tracks on there. Little bluebirds. Oh, that's twisted. It might stay in the cutter. Yeah. That's going to be a little pain. That's it. Ease it out. Do you know what? I'll do that bird again. My hand jumped. I felt my hand jump then when I was cutting that one out. Right, there you go. So we've got that little bird there. Put it on in white and then you can paint it. A little back wing. If you ever need any little birds anywhere, you see, you can always use that. We've got little birds on everything, especially robins for Christmas, haven't we? We've got lots of little robin-y things. Yes, I can tell you more next week about, you know, where things are, what, I don't quite know what's happening with the stock. We haven't got a lot left, to be honest. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. Okay, so this bit here is going to pull that away, because it does have a little bit, you'd think you don't need it, but you do, because it's the little yellow chest, which you will see in a moment. So leave that tiny bit on there, a little beak. Okay, so lift that up, and oh, I have missed a little bit, haven't I? Let me just get this little bit of paste that's already rolled out, and it's that little tiny bit there. Okay. There you go. Pop that one on there. So I suppose really you would say I'm semi-retiring, wouldn't you? Much to Jerry's disappointment. No, he's always about it. I'll just pop that over there. So then I'm just going to mix a little bit of blue on there. I wouldn't know what to do in the self if I'd stopped completely. I'd be at a loss. I'm just going to paint it, so obviously you wouldn't dust this because it would go everywhere. So I'm just painting in this little bird on here. And his wing. Like so. And then the other side on here. So it's all this. I suppose you could use these as little doves, couldn't you? Little mini doves. I couldn't think of the size of the cake that you'd be doing there. Right, just paint that in. And then paint the yellow. I've got some yellow here from this Freesia, which I'm going to crack on with now. So you can see here and there. I'll just lift that up so you can see that. And then when it's dry, just make sure everything's stuck down. Just leave it to dry a bit. And then all I've done here, I've gone over with a little dust colour on my brush. Be careful that you're not going to put it everywhere. And I've just painted in the eyes and gone over the hair. So it's just painting the bits in, really. Or not, you could leave it like that if you wanted to. So that is the little basket, Cheryl. I hope that was okay for you. Yeah, so leave that like that for a minute. So yeah, see, you just want a little bit of darker. So I can't leave it, can I? I can't say, well, that's it, that's fine. We'll leave it like that. So just put a darker shade on there and a little bit there. But it does go on better if it's had time to dry up a little bit. Okay, and again, a very fine brush and a touch of brown. And that's the eyes. Hold the brush upright. Hold your breath. And paint in a little bit of hair on there. You see his eyes now. Hair eyes, his eyes. And then you can do a little bit of pink for the mouth. So if you haven't squashed it out, again, very fine brush. This is a, it's one of Sugar and Crumbs. Let me have a look and see. Oh, get it upside down. I should have put my other glasses on. 50. I think they do a set, don't they? So you can see now, I've got a little smile on there. Okay. So I've just got a little bit of that dusting. Okay, so I'll put that to one side. I'm just going to show you about the flowers. Right, so let me just put that to one side there. So I'm going to make these in white and then I'll dust them from that. White. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've got 24 gauge white, it could be white or green, and a 28 for the buds. So I'll just make one of each. You don't need to see me going over and over and over. If I can just get them out of the pack. I'm just going to wipe my hands actually because I'm a bit trexy. And if you're taping up, I'm also going to have I'm going to have a drink of water. I don't know where my cup's gone. Okay, so just get rid of the tracks on my fingers. And I'm going to cut for the buds, it's all very small and tight in. There's no real stem showing. So I'm just going to cut that into 4. You don't need long wires for that. And for the flowers, I'm going to cut that wire into 3. There's no taping on those. Okay, I'll just keep hold of one. Get rid of those. The other height, so I've got 4 of the lighter wires and 1 of those. So for the buds, all you're going to do is take some green. Now I should have gone a bit lighter with this, but I couldn't at the time. I couldn't find the light green tape, so I've gone a bit darker. But never mind, it's okay. So I'm making a little hook on the end. So don't flatten it. Just make a little hook like that. All right, and a small ball, or a small piece of paste. So you're going to go into a ball, into a little cone, and into the chubbly end of the cone, the rounded end. Dip the hook into a little water, push that, I've squashed it now, it's okay, push that in, and then turn it round, and then I just do that between my finger and thumb. So I'm just taking that down onto the wire, okay, not too sharp on the top, and then with my fine scissors, I'm going to nearly cut through, and then give a twist so it looks as though it's about to open, and then cut through. So I think you see that I'm cutting with my scissors the calyx, turn it round, on the other side. So it just stands off slightly. Doesn't matter if it doesn't, but you can see on there. So you'd leave that to dry and do various sizes. So I'll show you the sizes I've done here. Okay, so that's roughly that size. That's the one I just made. And that one's slightly bigger. Maybe that one's about the same. Okay, so I'll leave them to dry. So I've got that size, about 6 you need. So I've got that size, that one next, and then that one, and then that one. Okay, I put them on there. I could lift them up a bit, maybe. All right, so you can see, can you see on there the sizes that I've got? Right, to one side, and then doing exactly the same, but with a larger piece of white paste, still on the green wire. So I've done, I'll just do a piece of white so you can see the size. They don't take long to do these flowers. Right, okay, so maybe that's a bit too big. Okay, so take another wire, make a hook, make a bit of a cone, the rounded end, the chubbly end, into the hooked end of your wire, into water. You can use, if you'd rather use glue, use that, that's fine. Push it in and then turn it round and twiddle the base there so you get a nice contact on there. Okay, just twiddle that round. And then, again, what I'm going to do is just cut as though it's like 1/3, and then just using your scissors, I'm just going to mark that one. So it's got 3 sections because it's like a 6-petal flower. So when it opens, so these 3 would be on the outer, and then you've got 3 more on the inner. And then again, you're going to cut. These are only quick ones, by the way. You know my favourite flower maker, don't you? And if you want to see them, lifelike, take a look at those. I'm just going to twist that top a little bit so it does look as though it's about to bounce open. All right, so leave them to dry. So that's the smaller one, and then I have got one which I've dusted, which I'll show you in a minute, which is slightly larger. Right, so let me put those to one side, and then the flower. You take 6 stamens, bend them in half, and then, did I put this down? I kept the wrong bit, I think. Oh, there it is, over there, never mind, I'll use this one. Right, so you thread that through, bend, so you've got them on there, fold the wire down, okay, and really squeeze it. I know it's a 24 gauge and you might find that a bit difficult, but give a good squeeze. And then with your green tape, so I've got, if I can find it, oh, it's right in front of me. So I've already cut this to half width. I could use a lot, I couldn't find my lighter green the other day, so I just carried on with the dark green, so that's why I've used that. Right, so stretch it to release the gum, just like I did with all the other flowers over the last few weeks, and wrap around, and then just take that down, not far, and again wrap it round and take it down. Do that 2 or 3 times just to get that on there. Right, now the cutter I'm using, I think we might have to make some of these for the combo cutters, these flower cutters, if you can't get them anymore, but there's that shape, that's what I'm using now, that size, and there's a smaller one if you wanted smaller flowers on the stem, on the same stem. I'm going to use that one. And so these stamens, I'm cutting the ends off there, and they only want to be a bit short of, say, from the centre of there, centre of the, there's me dressing tool, I think. Right, so go from the centre to just short of the top edge, and then cut it off. So it would be that. Now you can keep all those bobbly bits if you want. You can put them in to unwired flowers. Right, so I've got my little thing there. Let me show you that way. And then I'm going to dust that. So whichever colour Freesia, that's the colour of your stamen. So if I was doing yellow Freesia, I would colour these yellow. Orange, I would dust these orange. Pink, I'm dusting them pink. That's why I've gone for white, because then you can just dust them. If you need good stamens, go to the Old Bakery or get in touch with the Old Bakery. Now, where are they? Just Google the Old Bakery, and they do fabulous stamens and wires that don't peel and unshred. Right, so I've got my stamens ready there. So what I'm going to do now is take a little piece of white and one layer I'm just going to cut out flat. I'll roll that out first of all. You can do it on corn flour. Because I've been working on Trex, then if I put corn flour on here, all I'd get would be a cloggy mess. So you can use Trex or corn flour, whichever you want to do. So you could stamp out a few of these if you wanted. And then I'll put that onto, just put it on here to keep soft. You can either put a plastic bag, you can have a petal flap thing if you wanted. I'll put that on there just to keep that soft. And then I'm going to do this Mexican hat bit. So roll that down the back and get little bits. I don't know why. Pinch that round, so you're making, I think I did this for the large white flowers in that bouquet, in that basket of flowers, didn't I? Little Mexican hats. Right, and then I'm just going to use my paintbrush handle to get in and turn that round. Turn, so the paintbrush handle is really close in. Don't go out here because you'll end up with a really thick base. So take your paintbrush handle or your little cell stick or whatever you use to get in really close to that base. Right. And then take your cutter over the top and press down. Take the paste away so that you know it's cut out. And then put that, I'm going to put that just under a pot. I'll move that paste. Just keep that under something. And I'll go back to this one now. Okay. So, I'm going to work it now. So with your bone tool, so you've seen me do this before. Let me move that out of the way. Okay, so I'm just widening that slightly and not particularly lengthening, I'm just widening. Can you see the difference in that shape? Now, some people do the texturing and that, but most of it disappears by the time you've done what I'm going to do now. So just widening those out, get them a nice shape, go around like so. That's it. Right. Okay. Just make sure that you've got a nice thin edge to that. Now remember this tool. This is the double vein one. So I'm just going to press, I'm not pulling it out, I'm just pressing that in. So I'm getting a double vein on those petals. I'm going to lose some of that in a minute because what you need to do then, so if you do that, if you pull it out, you cut it, you literally cut it. So then I'm just stroking those inwards, and then I'll go back over with that. Right, and just put that to one side. Do exactly the same with this one. So that way up to begin with. I'm just going to do what I did there. So all I'm doing is taking this part of the bone tool, widen this, just widen that out, needs to be a bit longer. They're not pointy as so much. They do have that sort of shape, but they're not a sharp point. You know, just widen that a bit, and see if you're losing it, then just stroke that out a little bit. Right, so I'm tipping that way, and I'm going to I'll just thin those edges, make them nice and thin. I'll do the double vein in a minute. So I'm just stroking, bone tool pointing up, stroke that round like so, and then the double line on there. I'm just going to press that down. That's better. Did it the wrong way around before. So you can see what that's all about. Now I'm going to moisten just a little water or glue, whichever you want to do, but moisten the centre there, and then lay those between. Okay, now this is why I'm doing this stem. I was saying to, I can't remember the name now. This tool here, again, it's gem. Now Purple Cupcakes have got a pack of gem tools, this being in there and that being in there as well, about 13, nearly £14, but well worth it if you haven't got gem. But this one, can you see the shape of it on there? If I put that like that, it has this wide bit here, perfect for these. So when you push that in, don't go all the way to the bottom, but push that in and then just press the join of those petals against it, and you can see, against this black background, can you see this wide bit here? That's created by this tool, and that is the shape of the freesia. It has this sort of bulbous, but this bit here is solid, so I can push my wire through that. So to take it out, don't pull, just twist it and take it out, and then moisten with water, and then take your stamens down into there, so they're just sitting inside. Get rid of that green bit there. I needed a bit longer. Now when you go down like that, if you think, oh, that's a bit long, then you can just pull a piece off, that's fine, and wiggle it again. So it's that roundedness there that you want. See, Stephanotis have a nice shape as well. That's another dem, isn't it? Stephanotis. Right, so then again, get your scissors, and a bit further up this time, I'm just going to mark on and turn it round and mark on. So that's my calyx. You can cut through if you wanted to make it look as though it is a separate thing, and have that a bit like that, and then just dry them upside down. So however you do that, I usually have a piece of styrofoam and I just hang them like that. But if you've got a cooling wire, use that. If you've got the FMM flower thingies, use that. But that's your flower, okay? So make 3 of those, and I'll just put this little spray together and show you. Oh, I'll dust them first. Right, so you're all good with that? Right, let's just dust this up. So I've got my dried one here, and I'm going to use that, which is ruby. I just want to zing it up a little bit with a little bit of cerise. Now, if you edible arts, if the black lids, they are more craft. They're not really an edible colour, they're more for crafts. But as soon as you put wires in a flower, they're not edible anyway. So you're okay with that. So I'm just going to put some yellow down inside the flower. Like that. Now I haven't got my blower, so you'll have to excuse me blowing on that. Put a little bit of that and a little bit of that together. Oh, thank you. There you are. It's miraculously appeared. Okay, so all I'm doing is going round from the top down. If you think it's a bit dull, add a little bit of cerise to it. Don't go all the way down, because what you want to do is get the bulk of the colour at the top, and then it'll just fade slightly to practically nothing, like that. Okay, just a light brushing down to the calyx, but really get lots of colour on there. So build the colour up, start off like so, and then inside going the other way, so it's just the tops. So the colour, the pink will blend into that yellow. If you want to wear a mask, when you're doing this, fine, you know. If you don't want to have blowing your nose pink for the rest of the week. Okay. So just gently go around like that. And then I'm just going to put some lime around that. Just a hint. Hardly anything on your brush, just work it in. I'm just going round the base of that, first of all, with a hint of lime. You don't even know it's there, really. It's one of those, you don't know it's there until you don't put it on, and then you know something's missing. Right, and then I'm using the darker green, and I'm going to paint that calyx. So a little bit of alcohol on there. I have to hold it that way. And then you can just paint in that calyx. I could have used these in the basket. I think I did one in the barrel. I did these in that. Right, okay. So when you're happy with that, don't forget to go down the side of your calyx as well. See, that one is standing away from the flower a little bit, so it just looks more natural. Okay, so I'll just put that to one side. And then the buds, where did I put those buds? That's one I just made. It's all getting a little bit packed. Oh, there, okay. So the little buds, you can do exactly the same. There should have been another dry one somewhere, but you can go around the top with your dark. Then a little bit of the lime, but not much, you know, you just want a hint of that. And then you're going to paint in the calyx on there. So that's just done exactly the same way. Just rushing that a little bit. Just dry out very quickly, especially when it's hot. Not too bad today. Yesterday I was thinking, oh my word, it's going to be horrendous tomorrow. But I do find it difficult to pick things up when my hands are swollen with the heat. And I'm sneezing my head off with the... I take it's the pollen. Right, so I'm just going to put that to one side like that. Oh, I've got two of those buds. I've got one already done. I'm going to put this all together. Now the larger of these little green ones, you can just flick over the tops with a little bit of the pink. Right, let's take all this up and get rid of this. Right. So I've got 3 flowers. 1, 2, 3. 2 part open coloured buds, and then these little ones. So start off with, don't wear white pants and start wiping your hands on your pants. Right, okay. Even when I wear a pinny, I used to be demming standing up, and as soon as I stopped, I turned round and I just had 2 big patches on my backside. of colour or chocolate or whatever it is I'm doing. I'll just clear this away a bit. Now, when you're taping together, if you want to put tape over sponge, then put a piece of sponge down. So if you do drop anything, it's probably not going to break. Just give that a bit of a stretch. Don't go mad. Just slightly stretch it, and then start off with the smallest bud. So just a little way down. Right, so you've got that on there, and then push that up to the top. My hands are a little bit greasy. Get the next size and really close in. What you don't want, you keep snapping that tape off if you're going too far down the wire. Oh, it's not even on, is it? Oh. Right, let's get this on. It's getting it started, isn't it? Especially when you've got tracks all over your fingers. That's it, got it. Right. Right, next one. So what you don't see are the wires. Now I can see some wire on that one. I'm going to pull that tape off there. Okay, so really tighten. That's better. Next size. Tighten. And then just give one twist. You can rearrange it all in a minute, don't worry about that. There. When I say tighten, you don't see any of this wire. That's why I keep snapping it off and going back up. Okay, tighten. Then one bud, the next bud. I'll go back up to the top on that one because you can see there, you can see that bit of wire, and I don't want to see that at all. That's better. Now, I've got tracks on it, it's just not having it. Right, okay. Right, so then a little way down, one flower, again, tighten. We'll get it on first, and then I can pull that down so that's sitting in there. I could have done that with the buds really. Okay, so let's go all the way down and get everything tidied up, and then another piece of tape. Get that on, that's better. Right, so next one is going to come after that one, so just tape that up and pull it in tight. Next one is going to come after that one, and just get it in first of all, and then when I go back up, that's it. Go all the way down. I'll just cut the end off that, it's just a bit too long. Okay. Right, so just go over that last bit again. So then go back, and if you see any white bits of wire or anything that you shouldn't see, then you can just paint it. So I'm just going to go over there. Should have used full width tape now on that, but that'll do. That'll hold a lot, hold a little. Right, so then there's my green brush, a little bit of alcohol. So just at the base there, if you do see any wires like that bit there, that could do with another little bit of coating. Just go back and just touch anything up. Now, what you do then is just going to pull these flowers up like so. I'll go back over it. You see a bit of green there. You see the shape that's coming. They all should be on the one side. Let's get that up there. Maybe that bit there can just hang down. And then I'm just going to stroke the back, just bend the back of that so that, and then up at the end. So you've got this shape like that. That just needs to, just going to have to sort that little bit of tape out there. I'll hang that down, but they can come up like so. But they're all on the one side. So if you look at it side on, I'll just fill those in now. Just go back and touch things up. If you look at it side on, you haven't got them under here. It's all on that. Have you done frangipani and viscous flowers? Would love to see those. Okay, Wayne, haven't done them before. Okay, Wayne, I will put those on the on my list. So that's one I've done earlier. Okay, so if you were going to have a main flower, say a rose, a big rose, then you would bend that wire like that and bend that wire like that and put the two together, and then you could put your rose in there, and that would be your tails. They would be your tails. Okay, so that's our, where are they? Freesia. I was going to say fuchsia, totally confused. The Freesia flowers. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and something a bit different. Not patchwork cutters, but that's what we'll be doing. A bit of everything from now on. We should be here next Thursday. If it's any different, I'll let you know. Even if the name has a little bit added to it, like combo cutters, you will still be notified of when I'm demming. Okay. And yeah, Wayne, I'll work on those other flowers and we'll have a go at those. Bit of modelling as well. We haven't done modelling for ages, so I'll try and do something along those lines. So thank you for joining me today. You've got today and tomorrow if you want to order anything from Patchwork Cutters. And then we'll let you know what's happening. Okay, so take care. Have a lovely week. Enjoy the sunshine, although I think it's going to book it down on Saturday. But let's fingers crossed it'll be at night and we'll still have a lovely day. Okay, thank you very much and see you again soon. Bye.